Thank you. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bridge the Gap podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Scott.
And TikTok really liked our clips from last week. Last week, if y'all didn't see it, we talked about not Yankees versus Southerners, but I did phrase it that way because clickbait. But we just talked about how Yankees and Southerners view ice storms and snowstorms differently and how they're still treated differently, even if you're from the North. And I posted a clip and it got like 20,000 views. And people were really going at each other's heads in the comments. A few of them, have good points that the South needs to do better at preparing for storms like this. But then the counter argument is our summers are straight out of Satan's butthole. So we prepare for that more than we prepare for the once in every 3 years ice storm that we get. Also, y'all just appreciate the day off. Y'all don't get them up there. So appreciate the day off. And I don't know why we're complaining, but I digress.
Well, everything has to be a confrontation and everything has to be, everyone has to have their points, what I mean? Like we've talked about that before. And it's like what I said, maybe it was last week, I guess, when I was like, everything's got to be a competition. Man, this pizza's good. Oh, you've never had pizza until you go to New York or whatever, right? Or this Mexican food's good. No, it's not as good as here, same thing with that, with our topic last week. Yeah, people are like, this is why people in the South are stupid or whatever. What I mean?
We did get called uneducated at one point, and I was just like, okay, buddy.
And we're certainly not uneducated.
No.
And we live here. And so we know better than you probably do, right?
And it's just an opinion thing too. Like, obviously, we're not going to comment on how harsh winters are in the North because we've only heard about it.
Yeah.
I will say there were a few people in the comments that stood up for us that were like, I lived in New York for like 16 years. This ice storm was nothing like what we deal with up there. And I'm like,
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and then we had storm cycle number 2 come through this last weekend, where it was like the 4th for Charlotte. It was the 4th snowiest storm in recorded history. So like it goes.
Yeah, y'all got over a foot, didn't you?
Charlotte got, I think, like uptown Charlotte got right at a foot. Kannapolis, which is northeast a little bit of Charlotte suburb, got 13.8 inches. I think.
Wow.
I think we registered at like that 8.5 inch mark.
We got 5 here in Clemson.
Yeah.
Which was still a lot. And there's still some, so like my apartment complex is 4 buildings. And the main one is, because of how the sun is moving, still shadowy all day.
Yeah.
So that entire front lawn that I'm staring at still is completely still covered in snow.
Yeah.
Y'all,
yeah.
I didn't even have a window scraper or nothing. So I went to work on Sunday and I had to rub it off. 5 inches of snow on my car. And I had to rub it off with a North Face jacket. Like, I don't have anything to prepare for this storm. And then I went in and made no money. It was so tragic.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel my hands all shift just to make no money. I'm just kidding. I'm being dramatic. But I really did have to scrape it off with a North Face jacket.
Yeah, that's legit. So our house, the front of our house faces north.
Yes.
And so our front yard is still covered. Like I turn lights on, but I don't even need them because the light reflecting off the snow in our front yard is plenty of light enough. And so, it never sees the sun. It's winter, right? So in case people don't understand, in the northern hemisphere during the winter, North Pole is tilted away from the sun, right? So, so the sun goes across the south, and then in the south, in our backyard, which is south, we have a bunch of evergreen trees for privacy. So literally on half of our yard is still 8 inches of snow. Like it's not melted at all.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So, yeah, it's crazy. And The funny part is too, like we talked about it like last week. Everybody has something to prove. Like nobody can just be humble. It seems like anymore. And I certainly have my moments. So, for all the people that comment that we're stupid and we don't know what we're talking about, and we say all the time, this is our opinion. We're educated. Like we pull up our phones and reread things, and we try and be as factual as we can when it's something that we're talking about. But some of it's just opinion, right?
Yeah.
So my opinion is that people still just drove me nuts this weekend. Like,
yeah,
I'm from the north. We drive in this shit all the time. And
good
then
for you. I don't care.
Yeah, but our roads aren't like those roads up there. Like,
also, like, I just don't care. I don't care. Congratulations.
The reason why I say it is because as we're getting snow, when you come in our neighborhood, there's a stop sign and you can go left or right. It's one way in, one way out. And we're right on the corner. And I have boulders going down the turn because trucks they weren't judging the turn right, so they were running over my yard. And I have sprinklers on the edge. So I put some boulders there a few years ago to prevent them from driving up. But I didn't put one right across from the stop sign. And some stupid ass driving a little Fiat, which if you ever seen those, they're like little Volkswagen Bugs or Mini Cooper size vehicles. Driving in the snow. They come into the neighborhood too quick. They couldn't stop. So they slid through the intersection up into our yard. And these dumbasses, instead of backing up, just drove through my front yard in between two of the boulders to go down the road. And it's like, dude, if you don't need to drive, don't drive. Like, and we have friends of ours that they were like, we're from Ohio, or we're from Wisconsin, or we're from here. And, and so then they, and I'm just picking on them, but it was pretty funny. They're like, well, we're going to go see if we can't get food. And so they're like, and I was like, all right, well, this is a picture that was just posted on our neighborhood page for this, the main street. And, they texted the group back. They're like, you guys, we have a 4-wheel drive and we're sliding all over the place. So we turned around and went back home. And it's like, hey, common sense kicks in. Yes. And listen, if the Benz, don't cut this for a clip, but it was, they're the greatest people, but even the greatest people that have grown up in this, admitted that it's different. Right.
Yeah.
But you still have these yahoos that are like, no, I'm going to prove to you that I can go out there, and like, it's like, why,
like I don't care.
What do you have to prove? What
do you have to prove? And what are you going out for? Because congratulations, everything's closed. Like,
yeah. And if we
don't open stuff.
Right. And then if you're open, like somebody said on Saturday, so the snowstorm came all day Saturday. It was sun up to like midnight, 1:00 in the morning on Sunday. And somebody posted on our neighborhood page, like, hey, does anybody know which restaurants are open? And I was like,
you mean to tell me on a day like today, you're thinking about going out to eat?
Right. And it's like 4:30. These poor people, 99% of businesses closed by 5 because they wanted their if they opened, wanted their employees not to drive in the freaking dark with ice. Right? Like, hello. And these people are just so freaking mind-numbingly stupid and self-contained, right? Like everybody just lives in this bubble. They don't like open your visors, like even if they were open, do you want to be the one person that's sitting in there forcing these people to stay there instead of going home safely? Like you want to be that person? Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, we opened for the ice storm. We opened, but I called out because I don't live far from work. However, I don't feel comfortable being in a car when it's icy, especially because it was an ice storm. I was like, I'm not comfortable driving, and I'm sure as hell not walking. Okay. So I called out just for my own safety. But we opened that day, had 0 tables, but we closed at 4 because the ice was about to freeze over because the sun goes down at 5. And then this past weekend we opened, but they said that they had just a lot of party tables come in, which is so insane to me. They had a 30 top come in on Saturday during the snowstorm.
That's crazy.
I'm like, you guys suck. Like, genuinely.
Right.
But we close at 7 because again, the sun is going down, the temperatures are dropping rapidly, and it's gonna freeze over. So yeah, we don't. I don't know. I understand wanting to go about your business, especially if this is weather that you're used to. But a lot of people living here are not used to it. So have mercy on the businesses that wanted to close to protect their employees. Plus, when you're open and no one's coming in, it costs you more to stay open
Yeah.
but for a chance of 1 or 2 tables than if you were to just close.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. Crazy storm.
crazy storm.
Good
And
reaction. So I can't make sense of our interactions. Like some of the posts I posted on our Facebook page got, 150 views, which is really low, And then the last one I posted got like, I don't know, I haven't looked. It's like 1,400 views, which on Facebook is a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I can't make any rhyme or reason. I'm glad people are engaging, and we're
Yeah.
not trying to be controversial. We certainly try and keep as neutral topic as possible because it seems like everything can fall into a political bucket, but I'm glad people are looking and watching and doing their thing, So before I do want to hit on something I want to get your opinion on. So Billie Eilish, the Grammys, right? And what she said. So we've talked about this before, remember? Like I'd said, I wish people get an education and just kind of learn, right?
Yes.
And so I don't think Billie Eilish finished high school, right? Like I don't think she went to school. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. Cause I remember she was very new, my 8th grade year.
Yeah.
But she's only like 2 years older than me. Okay. She's not much older, but you're breathing really loud. I could hear it when I was taking breaks. I could just hear you in the back. But yeah, she put out her first single at 15. So, and it didn't take long for her to find success. So I don't know. That could be a thing.
I looked it up.
I really don't want to get into this. I was having a calm morning.
It's okay. We're not going to take a long time on it. But it goes back to educating yourself and not just clickbaiting or going with,
what the masses say.
It's not even the masses, right? It's a very select.
Well, it's the social media masses.
Yeah. So she did finish her high school education. She did it through homeschooling. She passed her equivalency exam at the age of 15, which, no offense, I'm going to say her she didn't get a whole lot of curriculum, right?
People have said that homeschool kids, when they go to college, are on an entirely different level because they're not getting the same amount of education.
Right. But it said she never attended traditional school, choosing to be homeschooled by her parents to allow her flexibility and focus on her artistic interests.
Okay, I mean, that's fair.
Her education requirements early, allowing her to focus on her musical career as it began to grow rapidly. So to your point, at 15. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to guess that she didn't really get a true history lesson because, and we've talked about it before, right? Like, the whole stolen land thing. Like it boggles my mind that people say that. Like it boggles my mind, right? So I want to get your quick opinion on it. And then I'm going to read you something that I read based on what she said from an actual educator and historian.
Okay. Okay. So no one is illegal on stolen land. Just doesn't have any logic behind it anyway. Because if it's stolen, then no one can be illegal. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but it's also not stolen. It was land conquered. Whatever. Say whatever you want about conquering land, but like this entire world has been conquered. That's why we have civilizations. But I mean, whatever, go ahead. My main argument is you are allowed, celebrities are human to an extent, and they are entitled to their own opinions. What I will say is that if you are living in a $14 million mansion in Malibu, and the minute that someone steps on your property, they're arrested and you file a restraining order against them, you do not get to make any effing comment on what is going on in civilization. It drives me insane. You're so far removed, whether you think you are or not. You're so far removed that it's a waste of your breath, and all it does is piss everyone off. Um, I don't care who you are. If you are in a house that's gated and in a community where you can't even be touched by the things that we are experiencing in the middle class, you can't say a word. You can't say a word. The income divide that Hollywood has to the average middle class citizen, y'all, bit of history that I did learn, is greater than the income divide of the French Revolution. And if y'all aren't educated, the French Revolution, the people got so pissed off that they cut off everyone's head that was making more money than them. Just so you know, that's the synopsis there. It didn't work out for them, but they were still cutting off people's heads for making more money. That divide is greater now. So if you're a celebrity, just shut your mouth. You can have your own opinion. We don't want to hear it because you are so far removed. And that's another critique I have of political parties is Democrats are very eat the rich, eat the rich, eat the rich, but they love to hear their celebrities give their 2 cents. That's the rich I thought you guys wanted to eat. They don't even relate to you because guess what? They don't care. They don't care. And that's the other thing. Other artists will be like, don't support Spotify because they support ICE. Okay, pull your music off of it then. You won't because you want the royalties of people listening to your music so you can stay in that $14 million mansion and continue to be untouched by civilization. Right. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Don't want to hear it.
Hypocrisy.
It's all hypocrisy. And it's sad to me that Hollywood is just so political now because their whole goal of Hollywood was to provide entertainment. It shouldn't be its own political party in a sense. And I really disagree with it. I wanted to watch the Grammys to see some of my favorite artists perform, get acknowledged for their hard work because I loved Billie Eilish and I still have respect for her because you know what? At 15 years old, she went and she did it. That's a very impressive thing to do. I think she has like 12 Grammys or something like that. Like she works hard to do what she does. So enjoy the liberties of your hard work and just shut up. Like just shut up. I don't want to watch everyone talk about what we're all already experiencing. We don't need to hear it. Hollywood should be our break from reality. That's what they're there for, is to provide entertainment, give us a break from reality and transport us to these worlds through movies, through music, through TV shows, through music videos, whatever. That's their purpose. So don't tell me how to feel when I'm the one that's having to experience the repercussions that you guys will pretend to understand.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on it.
That's good. That's a good perspective. I like that. For me, it's just the hypocrisy of it all, right? Like you hit it. Like you live in a gated community, but don't believe in borders. You don't believe in guns, right? But you are guarded by armed guardsmen in your community.
Oh, and you'll call the cops the minute someone's on your lawn.
But you wanted to fund the police, right?
Right.
Like the hypocrisy of it all is so crazy to me. Like I don't know. And I think I put it on Facebook. Gosh, it was probably 12, 13 years ago. And I said, hypocrites are the worst type of people because
I agree.
Because they're fake in every sense of the word, right? Like you can't stand up in front of me and say something and then do something completely different, right?
Hypocrites and liars are my least favorite people. And I'll tell you from the jump, and I've unfriended people because of it. If you lie to me, and I came to you honestly looking for an answer and you lied or you're being hypocritical, that will be the end of our friendship because I'm not doing it.
Right. It's crazy. So, the hypocrisy of it all is where it just drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
and Ricky, you just summed up Ricky Gervais's 2020 Golden Globe speech when he was like,
Yeah.
"Here's your little award and get the fuck off," right? Like,
Yes.
and I saw his tweet, or I
No
think
one
it was
cares.
a tweet where he was like, it was like hashtag Grammys. They forgot my memo or something like that. Like, he made a joke about the fact that everybody was saying something, and it's like, it's so funny, and it's the hypocrisy of it all is so crazy. So, so anyway, we could go down the rabbit hole of political stuff, and that's not what I want to do because,
I know.
it's ridiculous. But to my stance on it is it's so hypocritical, right? And so, like we've said before, that whole argument is so juvenile and it's so shallow, right? Like that argument's shallow. I'm sorry, it just is. So I found
it's just what you say when you haven't done actual research, but you are agreeing with what everyone's telling you to say.
To agree with, right?
It's that's what that sentence is.
Yeah, it's all sensationalism, right? And because when they got done, did anybody go and do anything to support anything like real, or did they go to all the parties and drink and eat for free? And you know what I mean? Like, it's so anyway. So this professor put out a statement that was like, listen, I don't get political, but I just have to say it because it's such a
because he's an educator,
argument.
like he shouldn't get political.
Right, exactly.
Sorry.
And he said, you'd be hard pressed to find one country in existence today where the land wasn't stolen from some group at some point. In fact, all of North America is quote unquote stolen land, including all of Central America, South America, and Canada. It was all taken from the Native Americans by either the French, Brits, Spanish, or Portuguese. And by the way, the Native Americans stole the land too when they came across the Alaska corridor from Asia, as the quote unquote Native Americans were originally Asians. You can say most of Europe and the Middle East is stolen land as well. Almost all of the current boundaries are the results of the wars of the last 150 years. In fact, World War I and World War II completely changed the borders in Europe and Africa. Anyone remember the Austro-Hungarian Empire or the Ottoman Empire? And if you go further back, the French stole the UK after the Battle of Hastings in 1066. The Muslims controlled Spain after they, quote unquote, stole the land from whoever was there about 1,000 years ago. And let's not talk about the Roman Empire. They stole an awful lot of land from an awful lot of countries, including Judea from the Jews. And let's not talk about Africa and most of Asia, because it's all the same thing. That's the way land boundaries work. Some people should just get an education, right?
So like, are y'all forgetting about the Soviet Union?
Right. I mean,
like, I'm literally so done.
It's so crazy, right? So anyway, I wanted to get your take on it because, once again, Gen X, Gen Z, you grew up listening to her. I don't. I mean, I've never listened to her. I don't. If you played 5 songs, said which one's Billie Eilish, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea, right? I'm Metallica, Iron Maiden. I'm an old school metalhead, Gen Xer, which blows my mind too, because Turnstile won Best Metal Performance for 2026, and I was like, who the hell is Turnstile?
I have no idea.
I've never heard of them. And somebody wrote, this isn't as bad as 1988 when Jethro Tull won the first metal Grammy over Metallica. Like, it's not that bad, but it's pretty
bad.
Close. Like, I was like, all right, Turnstile. I couldn't pick out a song by them to save my life, And I'm not irrelevant in the sense, like, my dad listened to jazz. So, like, growing up in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, my dad had no idea. Like, he was a jazz guy. When he was younger, I think he listened to like Three Dog Night, but he was never like a rocker. No Led Zeppelin. No, not the Beatles.
Well, he did have an Elvis album.
He had an Elvis album.
King of rock and roll. So
that's true. But
he dipped his toe in the pond of rock and roll.
He did, but he was a jazz guy, so he couldn't have ever picked out any band. Like, he never went to shows. This is from last May when we all went and saw Metallica at Bank of America Stadium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not completely irrelevant to music like my dad was, but I don't know who Turnstile is. I don't know if I've ever heard a song by him.
What's so funny is I like to think of myself as relevant. I have an old soul. I've been told I've had an old soul since I think I was literally 5 years old. Like I've just always been told I have an old soul.
Yeah.
I like to think of myself as relevant. I do listen still to some of the like trending music or whatever, but I do listen to a lot more 80s music. However, every year at the Grammys, I've been able to acknowledge, like, oh, that's a good category. That's a great category. And I'm like, ooh, I'd be happy with this person or even this person. This year, I was looking at the nominees and I'm like, who the are these people? No idea who any of you guys are.
Yeah.
Like Sabrina Carpenter, I love her. She was on Disney Channel. Dad, you wouldn't know any of her music either, but she was on Disney Channel and now she's a performer, but like a genuine great performer, not just like a Disney star trying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she was snubbed. She's been snubbed the past 2 years and it makes me sad because she like genuinely has talent. So like her, I really wanted to win. Tyler, the Creator, Ryan loves him. So ask Ryan about him. But he is a great artist. He gets snubbed. I'm like, so we're snubbing these artists that are like genuinely deserving to give it to some one-hit wonder? Like, I'm confused. I don't know who these people are. Like, stop. The only people that should be getting a Grammy their first time there are Best New Artist. That's it. Every other nominee should be people that have worked hard. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah. But I don't know how it works. It's just like the Oscars never make sense to me because everyone's talked about one movie all year long and then some picture no one's heard of wins best film of the year and everyone's like, where was that film even? Like no one knows what that is. So I don't know how the academies work. I don't know how the judges are picked. I don't know how they come up with these because they never seem to pick what the masses think is gonna win. Unless it's Beyonce, because Beyonce wins everything.
Yeah.
Which that's a conspiracy theory we don't need to go into today.
Yeah,
but
how's Jay-Z doing today? So I think, it's so funny because you see so much of this stuff on every platform. And so you start to kind of like think that a lot of people are this way or feel this way. But then you do like some research and it's like, no, right? Yeah. So like the Grammys saw a 9% drop in 2025. And so they said this year was pretty similar to last year. So it was flat. So it didn't gain. It's still,
I guarantee it lost more than they just don't want to say it.
They're not saying, yeah.
They're just not saying it.
It's not, yeah. It even said, it even said, says finalized viewership numbers are not explicitly rated as low compared to recent lower performing years, which means they're flat or they're a little lower. You know what I mean? And same thing with the Oscars, same thing with the Golden Globes. Like the Golden Globes, nobody watched those.
No.
Because
we're just tired of celebrities, man, because we know they're just going to turn it into this thing that nobody wants to listen to.
Right. Yeah. So crazy. So yeah, the Grammys happen. I didn't watch any of them. I have no idea. I saw that Jelly Roll trended for his speech, which was good. It wasn't political at all. It was faith-based, which...
And he even said, I don't think faith should be associated with a political party. And I think that was a great thing to say because
I think so too.
A lot of people will hear you're a Christian and then automatically assume like, oh, you're pro-choice. You don't believe in any kind of immigration. And it's like, whoa, it's not what I said. I said I'm Christian. Like me, Christian woman, I'm a pro-choice person. And I believe in legal immigration. So
legal.
But yeah, so crazy week. I've got a crazy week coming up.
Yeah.
My roommate's birthday is February 16th. So her sister's coming into town. So we're going to have a Valentine's weekend, like bash for her birthday.
Nice.
But also I'm coming home for a couple days for a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll shift gears. So, y'all, I don't know how to phrase this without people being like, you're being dramatic, but genuinely, I'm not sleeping. I'm getting hours. They're not restful hours. I'm exhausted like I'm 65 years old and have worked outside my entire life. Like I am so tired every single day. I woke up 6 times last night.
That's
6 times.
crazy.
For no reason. Just woke up. Like my body will not calm down enough to sleep or get restful sleep. Um
Are you
and I
drinking too
know
much coffee?
I only have 1 cup a day and I never have a cup past 3 o'clock. And I don't drink soda close to bed. I'm drinking water. I don't even have soda in the house. If I drink soda, it's at work to keep me alive during my shift. But yeah, I know what some of it probably is, and that's because I've got a few life decisions that I have to make pretty soon. So I know those are keeping me awake. And I literally had a dream last night. Well, I guess this morning because I went back to sleep at 6:40 in the morning. But I had a dream where I was at work and I couldn't find my shoes. I couldn't find my shoes anywhere. So I was literally having to work with no shoes on. And I looked up the meaning. It said,
What's
I
it
had a
mean?
dream. I just wanted to see because I know. But listen, dreaming of work, being at work without shoes typically symbolizes feelings of vulnerability or a lack of preparation for a situation in your life. Where did it say? It can symbolize a desire to be more grounded, humble, or connected to your work in a more authentic way, representing a need to strip away professional facades. Work-related dreams often highlight underlying stress or uncertainty in your life and environment, especially if you feel unprepared. And that's what I've been feeling recently. And I'm sure Mom told you about our conversation on the phone yesterday.
A little bit.
So yeah, it was just like weird, but
Yeah.
I know
Well,
some of it's stress, but
yeah.
I shouldn't still be as exhausted as I am for a 21-year-old.
Well,
I
when
went
was
to
the
bed
last
the other
time you had a physical done?
a year
Like,
ago.
okay.
But that's why I'm going to the doctor because
Yeah.
I logged into my thing and it said that I have high cholesterol.
From last year?
Yeah. And I've never looked at my lab results, so I guess I probably should have before this.
Yeah,
But
but you're
yeah,
young.
I
You
have
just,
high
yeah.
cholesterol. So I don't know if that plays a part in it. That can cause sleep apnea. Um, but yeah, I'm not sleeping. So I'm going to the doctor to try to figure that out. Because I'm unnaturally tired for a 21-year-old, and I don't think it's great that a 21-year-old has high cholesterol already. I know it's like genetic in our family, but um
Yeah. But a lot of it is about, cholesterol's a lot about diet and exercise. And you don't exercise,
that's not
well,
true.
then it's 100% true. So that's why I've said to you before, you need to like find activity and do stuff because
Mm.
you're in a old person place. Like you work, go to school, go home, eat, sleep, work, school, eat, sleep.
Because
Work,
I'm
school, eat,
tired.
sleep. I know. So, so I'm glad you're going to the doctor. They'll do the blood work. They'll do an exam. All of that is good. But
I'm really not looking forward to that blood work.
it's
I hate needles.
I know, but you're such a wuss about it. Like
I know,
and
and
once
it's so
done,
funny.
it's done.
No,
Like you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
it lingers. I can feel it all day. It's so
So you're a
funny because
mess.
my roommates, I've talked about it with them, and they're like, "You have 3 tattoos and
Right.
like 6 piercings," and I was like, "Yeah, but those needles don't scare me. It's the minute that they're medically involved, it freaks me
It's
out.
the dumbest thing I've
It's
ever heard.
not, and getting blood genuinely scares me, guys. I have to like hype myself up to get
Yeah.
my blood drawn. It's really embarrassing."
Yeah. So, I looked up like what the biggest challenges for a 21-year-old right now. And so, and some of this isn't just related to right now. I think it's any generation, but navigating the transition to full independence, including establishing a career, achieving financial stability, and forming new relationships. So it's financial and career uncertainty, independence and identity, mental health and loneliness, relationship shifts, so forming new friendships and romantic connections, time management and lifestyle, balancing work, education, and health, often resulting in poor eating habits, lack of sleep, or poor work-life balance. And
But I
then
don't
life
have a
planning,
poor
dealing with
work-life
the pressure
balance.
of what's next. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to me because when I was your age, I was going to school, working, living on my own, right? And didn't have a girlfriend at 21. My parents had moved to Arizona and I was in LA. So I didn't even have a home to go to. Like I was lost. And I wasn't I was lost. I guess that was a Freudian slip. I guess I really was lost. But
Yeah.
but I'd moved to LA at 21, didn't know anybody, lived in a studio apartment by myself for the first 6 months or whatever it was. Didn't have a job, had to try and find one. It was crazy. So there is some generational similarities with what you're going through, But I don't remember feeling like I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
But my generation, and I just saw this the other day, liquor companies are losing a ton of money because Gen Z doesn't drink like Gen X did. Like you guys don't drink.
Well,
like
you want to know
we
why?
did.
Because cocktails are freaking $20 a piece. We don't have the money for that. That's why. If cocktails were affordable, I'd be drinking.
Yeah.
But they're not.
I mean, cost of living is definitely higher. I guess
Way higher.
The ratio, who knows? I haven't looked that up, but maybe we were partying and falling asleep because the alcohol was making us
knocking you out.
Yeah.
Well, I looked it up. I went to a bar one time, and it wasn't like a downtown crazy bar. It was like a normal bar, and I wanted to get a Moscow Mule. Guys, a Moscow Mule is 3 ingredients. It's vodka, ginger beer, and lime juice. It takes about 5 seconds to create. That bitch was $15. I'd spend less making it and buying it myself and making it at the house. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm like, there's no way. And even beer being the like cheap alternative. If it's not at like a crazy bar, like a downtown bar, you're spending like $8 to $10 on a beer. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it.
It's yeah,
it's crazy expensive. That's why we're not drinking, because we can't afford it with rent.
Yeah. Well, so I just looked up a Moscow Mule in an American bar or restaurant likely cost between $3 and $6.
Lie.
In 1996.
Oh, in 1996. Okay.
When I was 21, right? So,
but well, you pay for my drinks when I'm home.
I know.
You know how expensive they are now?
I know. We didn't go out in January. We tried a no going out to dinner thing in January because of it's so expensive. It's so expensive to go out now. So yeah. So $6 in 1996. Let's look it up. I'm curious. $6 in 1996 worth today. $12.39. So it's close.
So ridiculous.
It's close.
That's double, Dad. Double.
I know, but the relative cost is pretty close to being the same. I didn't drink Moscow Mules at 21. I didn't even know what they were.
They're so good. I love them. They're so refreshing.
But
you guys say I have a bougie cocktail taste anyway.
Yeah, well, you have a bougie everything. I introduced you to King Crab when you were like 4, and
yeah, you kind of set me up.
It's like, oh crap. Because I don't even get king crab anymore. It's like $80 a pound. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, but I'm a person that I don't run to the medical team for everything, because I know sometimes healthcare is kind of just like, and also as like being a woman, this is something you won't relate to. But the minute that you start to explain that you're not feeling well after you turn about the age of 16, they go, any chance you're pregnant? Bitch, no.
Well, they
Can
have
we
to
talk?
ask.
Okay. But why does that, what part of what I just told you is giving signs of pregnancy?
They have to ask. They got to
I
treat
know.
it differently.
It's just so funny to me. They're like, oh, any chance you're pregnant? No. I
Well, what
haven't
do
even
you?
talked to a man in freaking forever. But, and then they go, if you have a history of depression, which I do in my medical chart, they'll be like, are you just depressed? If I were depressed, I'd be asleep all the time. I'm not sleeping. So can we please address the situation?
Yeah, I hope
Oh
I
God.
hope. I mean, listen. Medically, if there's something medically wrong, then I hope they
Yeah.
find it. If it's just because you're 21 and you're going through all the things that we just read off and you're trying to figure it out, then then that's a different story. We got to talk more
Yeah.
about that. But
It's just better to be safe than sorry too,
yeah.
because I need an answer. And I've gone through this with eczema where I just kept trying to find an answer and no one could give me an answer. And it's just so frustrating.
Well, you
And
finally got the answer for that.
I
Thank
did
God.
after like 3 years.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like, cause people are like, oh, get off your phone. Okay. I'm doing that. And I'm still not sleeping like fully. Okay. Don't eat before bed. Okay. I'm not doing that, but I'm still not sleeping. Take a shower. Still not sleeping. Take melatonin. Doesn't work. Like it will knock me out, but I'm waking up consistently with melatonin around 3 a.m. I cannot for the life of me fall asleep before 2 a.m.
That's
Cannot.
crazy.
The other day I fell asleep at 6:30 in the evening and I woke up at 12 a.m. So then I didn't go back to bed until 3 a.m. Like it's brutal and I don't know what's going on and I cannot regulate. And it's just really, really annoying to be this exhausted. When you think about going to the store as a physical chore, that's how I knew I was tired. Because I love going to the store. I love going to the grocery store. I know that's like an unpopular opinion, apparently, among my age of people. They hate the grocery store. I love the grocery store. So when I realized I had to go to the store and I was griping about it, that's when I was like, all right, I need to address this because obviously something's not right.
Yeah.
And I know that the stress of my future thing, we've talked about it. Everyone my age goes through this, but it's also just weird to go from someone who's always had it figured out, someone who's always known, to be the person who doesn't know. So I know some of it's stress from where I want to continue my life and all that kind of stuff, but
yeah.
everyone else my age is also kind of going through that and they're all sleeping like rocks because they're tired by the end of the day. I'm tired all day and then can't fall asleep. That's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, you never want to hope for something, but I hope they can figure it out because nothing's worse than not feeling well and nobody can figure it out,
Right.
at any, like with yourself, with your loved ones, even our dogs. Like Kai had the runs for 2 weeks. They took her blood. They did a stool sample. They did urine sample. Nothing. Can't figure it out. Like that's the worst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After $900 of vet bills, figure out why she doesn't feel well. Or she doesn't act like she doesn't feel well. It's just something's not
Sitting
working,
there.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So there's nothing worse than not being able to figure it out.
Yeah.
So hopefully you do. I think you have your aversion to going to the doctors from your mom. Your mom's the same way. I don't mind going to the doctor at all. I just don't really like my doctor. Like we've had
And I love
changes.
my doctor.
Yeah.
I love her. She's great. She's closer to my age, so I can be completely honest and not feel weird or judged. I love it. She's like 30, maybe. Like she's young. And so I like her
She's
because
probably older than 30, but
she seems really young though. But regardless, I feel very comfortable with her to talk to her about anything. So it's great. Like I have no problem with my doctor. I just don't like going.
Right.
Because I don't like them telling me anything.
Well,
also, I always look away when they do the weight because it's just not good for my mental health for me to focus on that. And I'll make it a point. I'll step up and I will literally look and then I look away and they'll still read it out loud.
read it out loud.
I'm like, I looked away for a reason, damn it.
Yeah.
What
But
made you think I want to know?
remember, weight is subjective, right?
No, I know. It's just hard
You're
to,
5'8"
yeah,
and you're athletically built because your mom and I are.
a lot of
So
muscle.
a lot of muscle, right?
And that's what I have to remind myself.
that's what I hate about the thing. Listen, I could use to lose probably 20 pounds, but I'm still, even if I lost 20 pounds on the little chart, I'm considered obese.
Yeah.
Do I look
That's what I
obese?
hate.
Like, I'm
No.
not obese.
And it'll tell me that too. That's why I hate listening to it, because it'll say like you're in this percentile, which means you're fat. And I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
but I'm not fat. I wear a
Exactly.
small. Like,
Right. I hate that. It's so
it's just I hate
stupid.
when they like what part of it. Where is it required that you read that out loud?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't. You see it, you write it down. That's good for me. I don't want to see it.
the other thing with you and with anybody going through it is, we've talked about this before. I am, unless they find something medically, maybe you're iron deficient or something, maybe there is something that they need to provide you. It could also just be your subconscious mind, because you are someone that has always had a plan, and you always knew where you were going, what you were doing, and how you were going to do it. And you're in a time of your life where none of that is true.
Yeah.
And it may appear that some people are in still that way, but they're not. I mean, we've talked about this, you and I. It's a very low percentage of people that go to school or do something between 18 and 25 and wind up doing that for the rest of their life,
Yeah.
And so that's why it's important for you to also step back and recognize that you are not unique in all this uncertainty, and it may feel like it because you have roommates that are nursing majors or friends that are nursing majors. But, a lot of people become nurses and then they're like, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do it. Right. Same with teachers, right? Like,
yeah, I think
there could be a subconscious construct to it as well. And so, try not to put all that pressure on you. Yes, you do need to make some decisions in the coming weeks. But they're not be all end all decisions.
I know.
And
And I've never taken anything
young.
small. I know.
You're 21.
And I've never been able, like, this is where I know I for sure have anxiety, because I put making a small decision on the same level as like being held at gunpoint. Like, my body goes through the same feelings that like I think someone would feel if they were at gunpoint. Like, I genuinely cannot separate them. And in my brain, it is like, this is the end all be all on everything. And for the most part, it's been helpful in making decisions, because I'm like, I feel either really strongly one way or the other. This one, I just don't. And I know that a lot of people, like my roommate, has no idea what she wants to do as a job, but she's passionate about her major. And my best friend, she has an idea of what she wants to do with her job, but she knows that she's passionate about her major. My other roommate, passionate about her major. She knows what she wants to do. She's perfectly built for it. I think the reason I feel so lost in that sense is that I don't have passion for my major. And when it comes down to it, I just don't know if I'm built for school anymore past the K through 12 requirement, or they seized me from my parents' house. I just think I'm more attuned to being a creative person. So I don't know. Lots of decisions to be made, but I'm not sleeping, and it's driving me nuts, because if anyone knows me, I love sleeping. I used to take naps after high school every single day, and I can't even nap anymore. Like that, guys. I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, we gotta figure it out. But
Yeah.
like, it'll be excuse me. It'll be interesting to see, because you have passionate interests, or
Yes.
you're passionate about some of your interests. It's just
Yes.
finding and navigating towards it,
Yes.
And what I hope you don't do is what I hope you don't do is what I did, which is chase making
The
money at
money.
your age. Because when you make good money at your age, that freedom and it's very liberating, and it's
Yeah.
fun to be able to go and do whatever you want to do because you have the money to do it, you know?
And I'm already feeling that way with me being able to afford London. I'm like, ooh, where can I go next? How much
Yeah.
work would that require? Like, because I want to travel, but I don't want to get lost in working.
Right. It's okay. And, you know, nowadays you guys have even, I feel you have even more opportunities than, say, my
Mm,
generation. Because it was, if you didn't have a college education, then you couldn't, there was a
do
lot of stuff you couldn't
anything.
even do, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's retail managers, they wouldn't even hire retail managers if you didn't have a college degree, right?
Hmm.
And the world has kind of shifted, thankfully, to provide opportunities without them, you know? And
Yeah.
so if there's something that you want to do that you're passionate about, then go do it, you know?
Yeah.
But you're also a year away from
Year and a
graduating,
half.
year and a half away from graduating. So it's kind of, so on the flip side, it's like, shit, should I just finish? Because I at least I have it. I went for this long and I've spent this much money. I might as well get something out of it. You know, when you're that far, if you're 1 year in, or, you know, a semester, that's
Yeah.
different. But, you know,
It's
I had
like,
to
I
have the
just think
same
of,
conversation with your brother the other day. I was
yeah,
like, dude, I'm not saying you got to figure it out, but you're in the second semester of your junior year.
he's
And
got to start applying in the fall if he's going to go.
yeah, so you got to kind of, are you going to go to a, you know, junior college, or are you going to get a job? Are you going to go to a trade school? Are you going to go to, you know, there's some decisions you do have to make at his age and at your age, but at the end of the day, you're still young.
Hmm.
Um, and there's a lot of opportunities. You know, I've worked in one, two, three, four, five. This is six different industries in since I was 18.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of change that you can do too,
Yeah.
right? And that's why, you know, if anything, if you don't have a passion for, you know, nursing or being a lawyer or whatever,
One of those things you for sure need a degree for.
um, then get a general one. You know, mine's business management. So I
Yeah.
was like, well, at least I have one, you know, and
Yeah.
it's transferable, you know, and
Yeah.
your major right now is transferable. You could become, you know, just, or work and continue to figure things out. But if I could have gone back, what I'm passionate about is coaching and leading people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a mentor to a lot of people professionally, and um, that's the biggest part of my job currently that I miss, is that I'm not leading and coaching people. You know,
Yeah.
like it's why it's one of the things that I don't enjoy about my current role. And so, you know, I look back and I go, man, when I was 21, I should have just gone and started getting my coaching licenses for soccer, because
Yeah.
I would have been happier. I would be happier today if I would have done that, you know?
And that's why when people ask me, like, what is your dream job? And I'm like, honestly, it's writing. Writing. Or maybe one day getting discovered and like just being a breakout actor, like my current hyperfixation people are. But yeah, it's writing, but I just don't have time with that right now with balancing social life and work and school. So it's like, okay, well, am I willing to sacrifice the last 3 years of work that I've done to pursue that? Because there's no guarantee it'll work. But that's something that I also have to try to remember is like, there's no guarantee that anything's ever going to work.
That's
Even
true.
having a degree, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a job in that field. So
100% true.
so that's what I have to like try to remind myself. And like, yeah, I only have a year and a half, but it's like, at what cost to my mental health? Because I don't, no offense, and I know you're not going to take it that way, but I don't want to be 50 and go, man, at 21, I should have just pursued that.
No,
So, like, is it even worth just, stick your nose down, just finish the degree and hope it works out? Or just take some time off, pursue writing because that's what you can now do with the free time that not being in school has allowed, and see if that goes anywhere. And if it doesn't, or you find a new passion, you can always go back to school. So it's like, I don't know, just a lot of decisions. But
Well, listen, like I said, all I can do is provide guidance and experience,
yeah,
And my goal has always been that you and your brother are better than I am.
yeah,
That's my goal. I want you guys to be better human beings, better ambassadors to the human race.
yeah,
Because I've always enjoyed my life. I don't have regrets. I do. I mean, I have little things like, man, I wish would have gotten my coaching license, or
yeah,
I wish I would have done this, or I have those moments, but overall my life, I'm pretty good, where I'm happily married. I've got 2 great kids. I've got a career. I've made a good life,
yeah,
but my legacy that I want to be remembered for is to provide the guidance to help you do better than me. Like, I want you guys and your brother, and even people that I've managed and that have worked for me. That's my goal. I say it all the time. I want
yeah,
you to reach your personal and professional goals. I want to help you do that, and I'm real about that. In your instance now, all I can do is share my experience. When I was 21, I quit
yeah,
going to school at 21, worked, made tons of money, had tons of fun, more fun than most people have in their lifetime.
yeah,
And it was great. And then I woke up at 25 and I was like, maybe I should move back home, which I did. So imagine, I was living out. I didn't live in my parents' house for like 6 years.
yeah,
I moved back home for like 6 months or 8 months or something like that. Went back to school and got a different job, and meandered a little bit in
yeah.
my 20s.
And that's where I think I'm at. I think I'm just at the meandering point, and now I just kind of have to figure it out. Because I told mom, I was like, it'd be nice to be closer to home for like y'all's physical support. But I said, no offense, we have a great relationship because I don't live there. Like, I don't think moving back in would help us out. But then mom was like, "We'll just stay there because you're not going to find rent cheaper than what you're paying over here." So,
no, you won't.
but yeah, just
No, I mean, it's true. Like, and it's hard because even though we didn't have social media, I had friends of mine that went away to school and did that 4 years and they got their degree.
yeah,
One really good friend of mine, she went to school in Texas from San Diego, got a degree in like fashion merchandising or something like that. And I don't know what she does now, but the last time, at one point I saw she worked for Petco. You know what I mean? So, and she worked for, Neiman Marcus or something. I think she did an internship there and stuff. So she tried in that arena, but then she worked at Petco, and she might still, I have no idea. The only reason why I even know that is because of social media. But
yeah,
and then my buddy that was the best man at our wedding that we talked about last week, he got his degree and had a job at an insurance company before he even graduated. Like, graduated, got married, went on his honeymoon, started day one like a week later. And he still works for the company, and he makes a bazillion dollars, and he's very successful. But at what cost? Because last time I talked to him, he was like, I didn't have fun in my 20s. I was married and working, So there's so many different ways you can go and find, so like I said, even though you feel this way, and it is different now than it was when I was your age, some of it is very similar. And so there's no perfect way to do it.
right.
And I went through the same stuff. I had friends, like I just said, that were boop, boop, boop. And I was like, well, I don't know, I'm not doing that. And should I be doing that? Why am I such a loser? But like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Yes.
Why can't I figure out? And the reality is I wanted more out of life than what the normal provided. I just did.
And I
And
think that's kind of
so,
how I'm feeling at the moment, why I just feel so unsatisfied with
yeah,
the traditional go to school, go to work path. Like I don't feel satisfied with it. And you know what? If you do, that's awesome. That's great. My
it's great.
roommate's on track to double major accidentally. Like some people are just built for it. And you know what? That's fantastic. But I don't I think I'm just more like you than anybody than we've even thought, where I just think I'm the same way, where I just don't feel satisfied. I know there's more that I'm being held back from. I don't know.
Yeah,
Ugh,
possibly,
it's
possibly.
just annoying.
But
I'm hoping
then
that going to London's going to be like a good little break. Not in a dream like I can move here and work in a bookstore and like blah blah blah, like not Notting Hill,
I was thinking the same movie.
but which that would be my ideal life if we're going to be honest. Live in London, work in a bookstore and like have a cute little boyfriend. I don't know.
Yeah,
That
that's
would
why
be
it's a
my
movie.
ideal life.
That's why it's a
But
movie.
it was made for me. Uh but I do hope it's a nice little break to kind of give me a breather so I can come back with a clearer mindset, because when you're here and you're in it and it's constantly around you, that happens. Shit just hits the fan. Like
Yeah.
it's so
No,
yeah,
it'll be a good break.
it'll
It'll
be
be
a
a good
good
break.
break.
Listen, you are very talented. You have a lot of positive attributes and skills and personality traits, and you're and a great backing
Mhm.
support system. So even though you don't ever want to live here again, you can, and you
That's not what
always
I
will have
said.
the. That's exactly what you said. Um,
I'm
so
just worried about the repercussions on our
that
relationship.
no, that should give you the confidence to go and explore and figure out who and what
Yeah.
you want to become, and just like I said, my role is to guide you and to
Hmm.
provide guidance. And there is a part of me that looks back and is like, you should have just finished school. Like, it would have been so easy because you didn't finish school for 10 years later,
Yeah.
and you were a dad. So I was working and being a parent and married and finishing school. That was a road much harder traveled, right?
Yeah.
But that was the payoff. That was the, consequence. It's kind of like, some people start working for the city at 18 and they're retired by the time they're 40 with, or whatever, 50. I'm making shit up, but, you know, um, my buddy that I talk about, he's made enough money to retire and we're 50 years old if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't, because
Yeah.
I didn't get my career going until I was in my late 20s, early 30s, right? So, there's pros and cons to each way. And as long as you're willing to accept the cons, then you really don't have a losing equation, because you
Yeah.
have the ability and you have the resources and you have the support system to be successful in whatever you choose.
Yeah.
It's just, are you willing to make the sacrifice? That's it. Either now or later, but there's going to be sacrifice at some point, right? Like,
I know.
um,
I feel like the
you,
gladiator. Are you not
well, it's
entertained?
like I loved marine biology and oceanography. It's what I wanted. I loved it more than anything. Loved it.
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh, they don't make any money. They're always on a boat somewhere, right? Like, and then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll be like a marine mammal vet. And then I looked at
Yeah.
school. I was like, oh, no, nope, don't want to do that either. You know what I mean? But you got people that start working at a zoo when they're 18, or they do an internship and then they make a huge career of it, but they didn't make any money between 18 and 30. You know what I mean? But
Right.
they love
Right.
animals and that's what they do. And then
Hmm.
it paid off later, and that's kind of the decision that I do look back on, because coaches don't make any money unless you're a good coach. So I was like, do I want to make no money and work like
Yeah.
3 jobs just to live? Or do I just want to work this one job and make $400 a night and just have a good time? There's pros and cons to both, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I definitely
So,
think I'm leaning one way. It's just hard to admit it.
well,
And I think
don't
you know
make
the
it.
way that I'm leaning too,
I
but
I
it's
I
hard
do.
to
Well, listen, it
fully
won't be,
lay down the hammer.
and it won't be popular with some people in your world. Not
But
that
yeah.
they'll hold it against you, but they'll be like, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what it is. But you know, that's what we're here for, and that's what we give. Advice doesn't mean you always take it.
Yeah.
You know, it's I didn't take all of my dad's advice.
I feel like I listened to all of your advice though. I just don't always go with the option you would have chosen.
Of course, that's
But I
part
still
of
listen to your
being
advice.
that's part of being an individual.
I
And then
take
you're
in
in
all
it.
your advice and mom's advice.
Yeah. And then you got to weigh it and make the best decision. That's why I have those conversations with you. Like, all right,
Yeah.
just so you know, this is what will happen.
And that's why I told Ryan when he was talking about school, I was like, unless you have a clear cut idea of what you want to do, with like, think of it like a jury. There can't be any doubt that you want to go and pursue this, or else don't start it. Take the time off, explore, find what you want to do, and then start going to school for it. I was like, unless you have this clear cut, you don't think of anything else, you don't have any doubts about it, don't go to school. Like, it's okay to take time off.
And it is good. And we can wrap up now because we're running long, and we can carry
Yeah.
on this conversation next week. But, you know, one of the things that I talked to your brother about is there's things that he's expressed interest in, but we have to weigh the introduction of AI and how that impacts
Oh, yeah.
things. So it might not be, you know, if you're an engineer or you're an architect or something, maybe there's AI technology coming that's going to eliminate those roles. Maybe
What
not
is?
entirely, but reduce them considerably, right? There's a lot of layoffs going on in those worlds, computer, IT, that kind
Well,
of
because
stuff.
computers
AI.
used to be the double checker just to make sure it was looking right. But now it's almost feels like the AI, the humans are going to become the let's double check this, which is like scary.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that you have to weigh also. And so, you know, when I talked to him, I was like, listen, all I know is that I have this experience and I have this knowledge, and I try and educate myself, and I try and read, and I try and learn, and I try and stay up on things. So this is the advice that I have. This is my experience, and then this is what I think based on all the other stuff. So you got to weigh that in your decision-making process as well, right? You don't want to do something that's going to be obsolete in 2 years or 3 years, because then you're right back where you are. But I do agree. You have a creative mind and heart, and so you need to find a way to express that. You do.
Yeah. And I don't think what I'm doing now is going to result in that. It's not a very creative field that I'm pursuing a degree in. It's very clear cut rules. This is what you do.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's, we talked about it before. We'll end now, but
yeah, we'll wrap up. But
we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next week, and a little probably privately. But thanks for coming along on my spiral. I don't know how this happens. This happened yesterday when I was on the phone with Mom. I was just talking to her on the way to Target, and then I ended up spiraling. But if you guys know anything about me, I will talk to anyone about anything. But when it comes to me having to make decisions, especially ones with emotional weight, I will bury it until it consumes me. So I think I just needed an outlet, and I was ignoring it. But thanks for coming along on my spiral. Everyone stay safe out there. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
who you picking? You got the Seahawks?
I would rather die than root for the Patriots. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think I saw a Matt that said,
here's who's rooting for the Patriots.
Right. It's just New England, like a little bit.
Just New England.
You know, and listen, I have a lot of friends and people that I know that are New England fans, and they're from there, and you know, but they won 8 or whatever it was. Like, they've won enough.
I'm done.
And we really didn't get enough separation. Like, it's like
no.
a breakup. Like, I don't need to see you back in the Super Bowl after just a few years. Like, you were supposed to be bad for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like the Steelers, I have a lot of people that love the Steelers, relatives, everything. But they haven't made the Super Bowl in like 11 years. And
Yeah.
so I have less of an
Hatred.
emotional reaction to the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Patriots, it's like, dude, come on, man. You guys were 4-12 last year. You brought in a new coach. You're supposed to be bad for a few more years. Can we get some separation?
Watching the Broncos
right
and Patriots play each other in the playoffs was like deja vu, and I hated it. I didn't want to root for either team. I was like, I want them both to lose.
That game sucked.
That game did suck. But seeing that matchup again, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm too young for history to repeat itself again.
Yeah, this house is pulling for the Seahawks.
Yeah, go Seahawks.
Which I would never say normally, but
no.
It's the team that I'm pulling for, since I don't have any real skin in the game. Plus, at least your uncle lives in Seattle, so we can jump on the bandwagon of his home where he lives. So enjoy the Super Bowl. You know,
responsibly enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah, be safe, be smart.
No drinking and driving.
Yep. Remember, we're just two people, a dad and daughter, that are expressing our opinions on life and things that we experience. If you don't agree, great.
That's okay.
Just don't be rude and call us stupid, right? Like, just have a little bit more class. You can disagree and say, I disagree with you. We love it. And we learn. We read some of the comments. We're like, oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, valid point.
Valid point. So, but thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yeah,
Follow
we
us,
will
share us. I'm going to say
we will. I know you do. And we will see y'all next Thursday.
See ya.
Peace out.